Hey guys, Galucia here, and we are in beta. Yay! I kind of wanted to quickly talk about some of the initial differences with beta. And you may be asking yourself, why are you surrounded by baby trees, Galucia? That is because I just cut down a bunch of trees on the top of here, and the leaves disintegrated on their own. Yay! That may be not a huge deal to someone that hasn't been playing the game, but it is a big deal because before this, actually a long time ago, they decayed, and then for some reason a patch came out, the leaves stopped decaying, and that was a giant pain in the butt. Because if you like, right now I'm clearing the top of this hill slash mountain off, trying to make it level, and there were trees up here, so I needed to get rid of the trees. And normally I would have had to cut down the trees, gather the wood, but then all these annoying floating leaves would be in my way, and I can't have that. So I would have to then go through and destroy all the leaves or burn them. But as you will see in a later episode that I'm going to post, I'm kind of holding on to right now, special little nugget. Um, I have a special edition episode where I try to burn some trees out of my way, and it didn't go exactly to plan, but you guys will see more of that later on. So now it's much easier to clear away spaces to gather wood. Now I don't have all these trees in my way, and that was the very first thing I noticed, because when the beta came out, it downloaded just like a patch normally would download, and so then I go in after the patch downloads. I go into the game. As soon as I go into the game, I'm surrounded by trees that I've already harvested the lumber for. So they all just started to disintegrate. I was just yay. The other thing that stood out pretty quickly was that everything is labeled now. As you can see, oh, that's called a sapling. See, I've been calling them baby trees this whole time. Everything is labeled, so whenever you highlight something, obviously it tells you sulfur. See, we've been calling it gunpowder this whole time. And these are wooden planks now. It's not refurbished wood. Yeah. This is cobblestone, which is just stone gathered. I've just been calling it gathered stone. And then when you refine stone, it's just stone. I don't know. So yeah, a lot of things aren't necessarily called what we thought they were called. Even if you look these items up on the guide on Wikipedia for the where it gives you the list of like how to make stuff, and it's a really useful website. As a matter of fact, to all the newcomers to the game, it is a very useful website, so I will link that in the description because it gives you a complete breakdown on how to make all the tools and whatnot in the game. But anyway, even that had a lot of those things labeled wrong, so it's interesting that everything has a label now. Other stuff is not really noticeable right now. They were making improvements to the modding so that it's easier to add skins to your character. So, like my guy right here, well, when he's not wearing all this stuff, you can change the appearance, add a skin. You can change the appearance of the whole game, but which I did when I first started my episodes. I was using a texture. It was a Doku RPG texture. I get a lot of questions as to what that was. That's what it was. So I guess they're making improvements to that. So, but I'm not planning on adding a texture. Maybe I will. I don't know. Maybe it depends what comes out. I liked the Doku RPG texture. Kind of made it feel like old school Legends of Zelda type looking thing, but in 3D. I don't know. It just reminded me of Zelda or a game like that. But I kind of like the old school appearance as well. But Doku was cool. I don't know. I guess maybe if there's a texture that a bunch of the viewers think is cool, and you thought it was interesting or whatever, you wanted to make a suggestion and say, hey, maybe check this one out. Maybe I'll mess around with some of those as well. Speaking of suggestions, you may notice that there is a large wooden structure connecting those two buildings. I have to give a shout out to Killer X Knight. He suggested that I connect my two buildings with a bridge going over the pit. That would make it easier to get between them, at least to some degree, especially at night with all the potential monsters that could be lurking about. If I needed to, say I was working in the mine shaft in there, but I wanted to go back to the house, that way I don't have to travel on the ground where there's going to be all kinds of spiders and nonsense. So I appreciated that suggestion, and I definitely went ahead and implemented that. The reason I'm clearing the top of that mountain, by the way, is because I had another cool suggestion from this name I'm gonna butcher probably. Doodle Pawn? Doodle Pawn? That's the way it looks. Wanted to see a house in the sky. And that suggestion was actually sent in before I aired episode 14. I just thought it was funny that my first fan footage screenshot that was sent in was a house in the sky, basically. But it wasn't. It was like an island in the sky and had a house on it and some other things. I'm basically planning on just building a house in the sky. It's gonna be a large, not necessarily a house, but just a large building that's gonna just kind of be up there, and then I might have like just some stilts. It's not gonna necessarily look like it's defying gravity because I'm gonna put a couple like columns leading up to it, and then one of those columns. The columns are gonna be kind of thick. I'm gonna make them by like 3x3 columns on the corners and maybe like in the middle as well. But then one of the columns is secretly gonna be hollow, and that's gonna have the ladders that go up. So from a distance, like if I could have visitors, which obviously I can't, but the alien invaders from there would think, oh, it's just those are columns. Nope, that's how you get in. I guess they could just land on the top though, so that wouldn't matter. But anyway, way off track. So that was a cool suggestion, and I'm definitely gonna implement that. And then the other person that I want, well, you know what? Hold on, I think I messed that up. I think, why am I trying to build multiple? I think it was Dubstep MT or yeah, it was something like Dubstep. That was who suggested the flying house. And then, yeah, that was who suggested the floating house. It was Doodle that suggested making a large house with separating the rooms and having like tables and a bed, like making a legit looking house, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while now, actually. I know this house is like really small and pathetic. It's just, it was something to keep me safe. It was the first house I built. I never really intended it on being like that big main structure that I have or whatever. But so I've always wanted to do that, but now that obviously the fans are on board and at least one person wants to see me go over the top, I fully intend on doing that. So basically the plan's going to be to build this floating structure. I already have a wooden house, and I'm not going to get rid of this. I like it. It's the original, so I'm definitely going to stick with it, even if I don't need it that much. I have a brick house, which the view is a little obstructed now, I guess, by this wooden bridge, but you know, that's okay. So this one, I guess, will be stone. Stone sounds good, so we'll go with that. So this episode, obviously, you know, a whole lot done, but that's okay, because for episode 16, it's gonna be all about making floating houses, which I'm not 100% sure how to go about. So I guess we'll figure that one out together. But I guess here is as good a place as any to wrap this one up. So yeah, stay tuned for the fan footage of the week, and I'll see you guys laters. Okay, YouTube peeps. Today's fan footage is my wife. And I had to give her her spot. I have a bit of a horror story to go along with her thing while I'm down in her cellar. She has a pretty awesome storage cellar, so I was going to start there and make my way up. She had an epic world where she was tirelessly working. She leveled like half the world so that you can see all her epic structures. Hold on, I'm building the reveal. That's a tall house. That is an unnecessarily tall house. She's ridiculous. But yeah, she had an epic world. I cannot tell you how many hours she spent on it. I like the. That's cute. Tireless. And then she had all kinds of computer issues, and I guess every floor is pretty much unfurnished right now. She's probably gonna add stuff later, but pretty much every floor is the same right now. So I'm just gonna kind of make my way to the top. Yeah, she had a computer issue, and next thing you knew, the world crashed. And we may be able to get it back because I did make backups of her save files, but as of now, it was gone. So she wanted to. I like the fence. It's nice and safe. Look at this. Above the clouds. It's pretty epic. The cloud actually passes through the floor below. So if I was in the floor below, you would see a cloud pass through us. I guess that one would if I felt like waiting long enough, but I don't. So, yeah. Fan footage. Wife's cool house. And to anyone that says, hey, that's not fair, it's your wife. You should show. First of all, my first fan ever was my wife. She remains to be my biggest fan. Watches every video, and she's my wife. So just deal with it. But if you send stuff in, guys, you know the deal. I will post it. Plenty of episodes after this for you to make your way into the fan footage section. So again, for anyone that's not aware, I mostly like to use Dropbox, but you can use whichever works best for you. Just send me a private message with the link to the file. Short video clips and or screenshots will work fine, and I will showcase a piece of your world if I think it's cool. So I hope you enjoyed today's fanfare, and I will see you guys next time.